Certainly. Here's a chilling story that might just keep you up at night. The Midnight Visitor. In a small, isolated town surrounded by dense forests, lived a young woman named Emily. Her family had recently moved to an old house on the edge of the woods, which had been abandoned for years. The locals were wary of the house, whispering tales of strange happenings, but Emily brushed them off as mere superstitions. One stormy night, as the wind howled and rain battered the windows, Emily was alone in the house. Her parents were away, and she was enjoying a quiet evening reading a book by the fireplace. Suddenly, she heard a faint, persistent knocking at the front door. It was unusual because there was no car in the driveway and no one was supposed to be out in such weather. With growing unease, she approached the door and peered through the peephole. The storm made it hard to see clearly, but she thought she glimpsed a shadowy figure standing outside. Hesitant but curious, she opened the door a crack and called out, "Hello?" There was no response. The figure, now barely visible, seemed to sway slightly in the storm. Emily felt a chill run down her spine. Against her better judgment, she opened the door wider. As the wind rushed in, she saw the figure more clearly, a tall, gaunt man with hollow eyes and a wide, unnervingly calm smile. "Can I help you?" Emily asked, trying to keep her voice steady. The man didn't answer but simply stepped forward into the light, revealing a worn, tattered coat and an old-fashioned hat. He spoke softly, "I'm lost and need shelter." Emily hesitated, but the kindness in his voice seemed genuine. She reluctantly agreed to let him in, feeling uneasy but compelled by politeness. She led him to the living room and offered him a seat by the fire. The man sat quietly, staring into the flames, saying nothing. Hours passed, and the storm raged outside. Emily tried to make small talk, but the man remained silent. As the night wore on, she noticed that his gaze never left the fire. There was something deeply unsettling about the way he watched the flames, almost as if he were mesmerized by them. Around midnight, the power went out, plunging the house into darkness. Emily fumbled for a flashlight, her hands shaking. When she finally managed to turn it on, she noticed something chilling: the man was no longer sitting by the fire. In fact, he wasn't anywhere to be seen. Panicking, she searched the house, calling out for him, but there was no response. As she reached the top of the stairs, she saw a shadowy figure at the end of the hall, standing still and motionless. Her breath caught in her throat as she realized it was the same man from earlier. He was now facing away from her, staring at the wall. Emily tried to back away, but her foot slipped on the stairs, making a loud noise. The figure turned slowly, revealing its face, now twisted into a grotesque, ghastly grin. His eyes were dark voids, and his mouth stretched unnaturally wide. Fear overcame her, and she ran down the stairs, desperately trying to get out of the house. As she reached the front door, she looked back one last time. The man was now standing right behind her, his breath cold on her neck. Emily threw open the door and bolted into the storm, not stopping until she reached the nearest neighbor's house. She explained the situation, but when they went back to her house, there was no sign of the man. The house was empty, and the storm had passed, leaving behind a haunting stillness. Emily never returned to that house. It stood abandoned once more, and the locals continued to whisper about the strange occurrences. But the story of the midnight visitor lived on, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind even the most ordinary of appearances. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you have any other requests or need more tales to stir your imagination, just let me know.